an amazing guest. Fantastic, Frankie. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Thank you for coming. No, you're somebody, I've seen you on my page for about a year now. And then when you like put out like the TikTok, hey, I'm gonna be in London, I was like, by any means, I have to collaborate with you because what you've been doing on TikTok is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And like, no, I think it's always important to like give people their flowers while they're here. Like what you've been doing, just like the stuff, even the stuff you mentioned where you've been doing like press runs and the community you've been able to build. And just like as a black woman on TikTok talking about nerd culture, like I very much as a fellow nerd myself appreciate the content you're making. So I just wanted to like thank you for the stuff that you do because it really does help. Even though I don't agree with some of the stuff you say, which we'll get into, but it's all a part of like the discourse and building a community amongst like, it's hard enough being a nerd, it's hard enough being a black nerd as it is, and just you having the bravery to like, you know, get on your platform and talk about the things you talk about and sometimes fight the BS you see in the comment section because I've seen the wars you've been fighting. So yeah, just big up yourself, man.
Yeah, it's thank you. I don't know why I get people so angry, honestly, truly. But it is a lot of fun at the end of the day, and I get to like spend my day arguing people who are like upset. So it's a lot of fun. It's a blessing for sure.
Let's get into like the origins. Like, what even made you decide to pick up like the phone, pick up the little microphone, and pick up Batman, and decide to, you know, just hey, I got some stuff to say. Let me go on TikTok.
Yeah, I really got into comic books first, and it was just a way I was connecting with my father.
What was the first comic you read?
I mean, I'm talking about when I was a baby.
It doesn't
maybe
have to
a
be
milestone.
like issue number 7.
Yeah,
It's just yeah.
Well, yeah, my dad definitely got me into Batman early. And
Justice League shirt.
Yeah, I have a Wonder Woman shirt.
Yeah.
I try to be subtle. But yeah, I grew up a DC girl. We would go to conventions when they first started when I was really young. And as I got older, like Toonami became big, and that's kind of how I got into anime. And I had a totally different career for a while. I got my master's in like kinesiology, which is like movement, and I used to be like,
so you're a scientist?
post-op. I used to be a scientist. I haven't practiced in now 5 years.
Okay.
So I don't know how good I'd be. I'd probably fail whatever tests I need to take. But yeah, I used to train and like be in post-op. And then I started just because I wanted to. Like, I'd be on YouTube and like watch all these guys argue, and they'd talk about things that they would talk about stuff, but they wouldn't touch on a lot of things that I noticed. And I was like, because they're guys or they're white. So they weren't going to see things the way I saw it. And I was like, well, I'll just wait for a black girl to come. And then finally I was like, well, she ain't coming, so let me just be her. And so I started just like, my videos are still up. They're terrible on YouTube. And I was like recording on my phone. It was garbage, the sound, the quality, everything's awful. Yeah, you know,
it's
you
like,
just start.
It's like I have old videos of the podcast back because I started this when I was back in like university, and I was like, oh my God, like the camera quality is terrible. I didn't know how to edit sound. It sounds like I'm talking with this, like, but it's a part of the process. But yeah.
Absolutely. And you get, my editing was terrible, the cuts, everything. Even the points I was making were good, but I just didn't know how to articulate it. The way I would speak was very robotic. And then I realized, you know, you just grow. You just grow. And then, when COVID happened, it just gave me an avenue to explore that. And really, you know, everybody was laid off. No one was working. And I was able to like get grants from like Facebook and stuff like that and support myself. And then it gave me the room to like really put my energy into it. And to your point, like, honestly, I think people get angry the second I'm on screen. Like, regardless of like what I have to say, they're like, "Oh, fuck this girl!" Like immediately.
Yeah.
Like so, it makes it easier to like push that out. But it's definitely, it's interesting. It's an interesting experience.
Do you read through your comments? Because I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all of them.
Do you ever just get dissuaded? Because like, there's a lot of positivity there, but it's like sometimes it can be like that one negative comment that makes you come off, or do do you just have thicker skin than that?
You said there's a lot of positivity in my comments?
There's a lot.
Oh, because I delete and block so many people. So if my comment section looks good, it's because I put it, and I filter out so many words. So lately I've been getting, it's been a lot easier because I filtered out like bitch. Minimum 20 to 30 comments with that in it. But sometimes when I was talking about Across the Spider-Verse, I was definitely dissuaded, and I wanted to like
it was the
turn it
whole
off.
Miguel discourse. Yeah, I remember that.
Which was like, you know what was funny? So like, I mean, we talked about it before. Like, I'm Afro-Latina from New York. I'm literally Miles Morales. So like, I can feel that
the
subtext.
story hits home a lot deeper for you than it will for like a lot of other people.
Absolutely. And I think it was because I said, hey, if you're not from this community, don't speak on it. I'm not going to discuss this with you because you're not going to understand it. And I think it was that piece that I said that they were like, oh, fuck this girl, I'm gonna curse her out because what does she know? She doesn't know shit about this, da, da, da. And so I was getting so many really mean racist comments and really like sexist comments, like threats. And so I was nervous for a while. I was like, what if they dox me? What if they find my address? That was the only time I was like really dissuaded from like doing something. But I knew if I took down that comment section, they were just gonna flood everything else and be like, we won, we shut her down. And there was like one creator in particular who still to this day won't leave me alone.
KO?
You know, he's obsessed with me. Him and his wife are obsessed with me. But I realized like it's easy to like not like me and be obsessed because I speak so confidently and like.
I think there's a line between like, and I feel like with TikTok, people don't understand the line where it was like, okay, I may disagree with this take, but let me combat this take on a like respectful level. Hey, I don't see this perspective, but here's my perspective. But it's like, you dumb motherfucker. It's like, relax.
Is that how you talk to people? Yeah,
they wouldn't though. That's the thing. Yeah. They wouldn't. They actually wouldn't. If they saw you, they wouldn't say anything to you. But because there's the protection of, hey, I can leave this and go about my day. They don't realize that.
Yeah.
These words are going to another person. Like you are speaking to someone. Just because there's like a barrier of like the phone doesn't mean you're not able to choose your words. Choose your words perfectly, and then let's have a conversation about it if you disagree about it.
And I question the way people are raised because, to your point, I couldn't speak to anyone like that. Like growing up in New York, we would never speak to, and also I wouldn't say anything that I wouldn't say to your face. You know what I mean? And so a lot of that discourse, a lot of that anger, I'm like, is misplaced because I'm at conventions all the time. Yeah. Those people never approach me. They never come to speak to me.
And I bet you half of the people that do approach you and say nice things are probably some of the trolls in the comments.
Oh, so I've definitely seen, one person came to an event that I was hosting and was all up in my face. And then and the people around him was like, oh, you should show her your comic book. She reviews comic books, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yeah, tell me about it. And he was like, well, you can't tag me because you blocked me. And I was like, why are you in my space? If I blocked you, never
because I blocked you for a reason.
Yeah, and I was like, what's good with you? What did you say? Because I mean, I do block people lightly.
Okay,
like,
first.
I'm very quick to block people, but at the very most, I think the lowest I've ever blocked someone is if you put L take, I'm like, you have nothing to contribute, block.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't like people who don't speak to me or don't have a conversation. You know what I mean? But I don't know what he said. He had said something weird. But I was like, all right, I'll unblock you. Because he was like, it wasn't even that weird. I was just disagreeing. I was like, I doubt it, but I'll unblock you because you had the courage to come speak to me. And then he said something weird again. And I was like, see, and this is why
you get blocked.
This is why you get blocked. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, don't come in my space anymore. Like, I'll have some guys with some slits in their eyebrows waiting for you. Don't do it.
Yeah. But before we get to the main topics, we like to play a little game called This or That.
Okay.
Where I'll just give you two options. You have to pick between this or that. Sound good? Cool. Would you rather live in Michael Bay's Chicago in the Transformers universe or MCU New York? So this is including all the events that have transpired in each universe.
I'm still gonna go MCU New York. I'm still gonna go to At least Tony is like giving money back or something. I don't know. I feel like Michael Bay, they just destroy the city and dip.
Yeah, the Optimus Prime runs through the city. Yep. Would you want Jedi or wizard? Harry Potter.
Harry Potter wizard? Yeah, I guess a Harry Potter wizard. I mean, a Jedi, you can't have no life, right?
No. I mean, the
You
new
can't
age,
fall
the
in
new
love.
age Jedi be doing new stuff. Like new age Jedi.
Which one?
Luke be kind of Rey kind of does her own thing.
Not really.
Not really.
You know, so that was the whole thing. You can't have like a family or anything. Like, nah. All they could do is move things. Like combat. Like, how often do I think I'm going to be fighting with these powers?
It is useful though. The Force, I could just.
You could do that with Harry Potter magic. You do Accio.
Yeah, but then I got to do a whole spell.
Only the white people in England, people in England use. I didn't mean to look you up and down. That's y'all. That's y'all over there. Every other country, the Harry Potter world, they use wandless magic.
That's me now.
Yeah, it's just white people.
I'm a Brit, so I'm looking at it like I'd probably have to go Hogwarts and learn the.
You go? Aren't you African? Go to Uganda. Oh, they call it Ouagadougou. You go to
Oh
Ouagadougou.
God, J.K. Rowling. Oh God, J.K. Rowling.
Someone said if she made a Latin character, she would name it Arriba Arepa.
Oh God.
That's hilarious.
Oh God. For someone so creative, she's not a good writer.
You know, now that I'm reading Lord of the Rings and stuff, I'm realizing she's not as creative as I thought she was. Like there's so much there's so much from other stories she pulled together and just kind of put out there. And then to your point, like how you reacted to Ouagadougou, she didn't even like really consider the name she named.
That's basically as bad as Ooga Booga. That's basically.
She definitely called it. She named her only Asian character Cho Chang, like Ching Chang. Like it's bad.
No, it's given racist.
The African character's name is Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Shaka Zulu.
No, Shacklebolt, like shackle.
No, I
like slavery.
Slave,
yeah,
I bet you she got the shackle from Shaka Zulu or something.
It's not. I mean, it's quickly. She's like, I'll just do this. Like, you know, a quick name. I think that's how she named everyone. And there's definitely. You know, like growing up, I was a huge Harry Potter fan, and I still like am. But there was definitely no intention into her story or her plot. And I kind of realized it when I was younger, but as I get older and I'm talking to more people, I'm like, damn, this is not as good as I remember it being.
No.
It's hard.
You got a couple more. Ants or A Bug's Life?
Dang, which one they were hood? Ants?
Ants was probably more hood.
Yeah, so A Bug's Life. I'm not trying to live in poverty and be an ant. That's crazy.
All right. This is just general movie. Which was the better movie? Dark Knight or The Batman?
Dang. That's a really hard question. I'm going to say The Batman because I felt like Robert Pattinson's Batman was more of a Batman. Like he was doing like heavy detective work. But I think quality-wise, they're the same.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I think I like the Batman more for Gotham felt like a living and breathing city in the Batman. Just even through the cinematography, the color palette, but even I had an understanding of like the different crime families, especially when it came to like people like Falcone, Penguins, Cobblepot's involvement in that. Just the world of Gotham in one film felt more realized, in my opinion, than all three films in the Nolan trilogy in terms of just Gotham itself. Yeah. So, and after that movie, I'm so excited to just visit that place again. Yeah. Gotham, the city itself felt like a character.
That's true. And you know, the Penguin's coming out soon too. That's going to be dope.
I cannot wait for that.
I really liked how they painted the Penguin to be like he thought he was also a hero. And like I feel like that's very much true for the crime families in Gotham, that they're like, we are keeping a stasis. Like everyone's corrupt here. We're like keeping everyone in line. And so when he found out that Falcone had, I forgot what he did. He was like betrayed everyone. He was furious and was like, I'm going to kill you, sir. Like this is not what we do. Like we kill each other, we sell drugs, but we're not like, we're here for Gotham. But I agree. And I think in the way that like with Spider-Man, New York should feel like a character. Gotham should feel like a character, and
And
it
on
doesn't.
Spider-Man, that's kind of like the reason why I have a problem with the Tom Holland trilogy.
Yeah.
There's a lack of emphasis on New York, and I get it. The Far Away Home was obviously supposed to be set away from New York, but New York doesn't feel like its own character. It just feels like a backdrop. And even like something as trivial as we don't really get many scenes of Spider-Man swinging through New York. I know we get the massive end credit scene of in No Way Home where he's swinging through New York in the suits, but I remember in Civil War, I think it was in Endgame, no, Infinity War, where Peter says, how can I be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's not a neighborhood to protect, right? But we don't really see him interact with his neighborhood.
Absolutely right.
We don't really see him interact with his neighborhood. It's just like these one-off scenes that we get in Homecoming. We get a few scenes here, but we don't get friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's either off in Europe handling Iron Man's issues, or in No Way Home, it's a big multiversal threat that involves Spider-Man, but I don't get the neighborhood hero part.
No, I agree. I think like versus Across the Spider-Verse, where we see Miles like in the bodega, everyone in the neighborhood knows Spider-Man, and like he's going to school.
Exactly.
I agree completely, and I think that's just a curse of the MCU. Every movie, particularly like their flagship movies like Spider-Man, have this like task to like set up or introduce or be part of something bigger.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult to make something like a neighborhood hero for a movie, you know?
Yeah. But the funny part is that that's kind of what was promised in Civil War, because in Civil War we see Peter swinging through the city, and the emphasis is that, oh, he's a kid. And Homecoming tried to deal with the high school aspect a bit. I would have preferred if they'd stayed in New York again.
Yeah.
But Homecoming was at least an attempt at that with, you have to earn the suit and so on and so forth. But with the other subsequent movies, it felt like not only Peter inheriting other people's problems, but then the problems didn't feel intrinsically tied to him being a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
They felt like, hey, okay, we've got to introduce the multiverse, Spider-Man. Okay, we've got some subplots wrapped up with Iron Man. Okay, Peter can handle that. And it's like, I want to see, for example, like Spider-Man truly interfere with his high school life, which Homecoming did, but then the subsequent movies kind of went away from.
Yeah.
And that was the whole pitch of like the new Spider-Man trilogy. Hey, we're setting it in high school. And the high school just feels like an aesthetic choice rather than a character choice at this point.
I think allegedly we're gonna get that in the next ones, now that no one knows him and he has his old suit and he doesn't have but I agree, I feel like they skipped a step, and it's odd to see that like in the fourth movie. That's what it's gonna give it. And it's odd, it's also, it's sad. I was talking to someone the other day, Tom Holland is stuck as Spider-Man. I was watching him in Uncharted, and I was like, why won't he just swing out of here? And I was like, oh, this is not
they set him up for failure, because I'm a huge like gamer. I'm an Uncharted fan.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form should Tom Holland have been cast as Nathan Drake. They're not even in the same age bracket.
He was supposed to be like Nathan Fillion, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, Nathan Fillion. Like Nathan Drake is like a mid-30s white man. He's basically a more updated version of Indiana Jones, an experienced veteran that goes around finding treasures. And I understood that in some parts of the game they tell flashbacks to a younger Nathan Drake, but Nathan Drake's primarily a seasoned veteran treasure hunter. So when they cast Tom Holland, that was like, why?
Wasn't he supposed to be young? Like, this is his first mission?
I guess, but the whole appeal of Uncharted is like this seasoned guy going on adventures. It's like, you could do a prequel if you want, but at least establish the first Uncharted movie with a more experienced Dave. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like they announced like an Iron Man movie, and it's like, hey, cool, we're telling the origins of Iron Man as a teenager in high school being under Howard Stark. Sure, we'd love to see that, but we want to see Tony
makes
Stark,
sense.
the billionaire, do you know what I'm saying?
They did that with Laura Croft, right? Didn't they? And it did terrible, actually. You're right.
Exactly.
Because they did like a young Laura Croft. Not that I thought she was old, but to your point, I never saw her as 20.
No.
Like Angelina Jolie probably was like 28 at the time, or 26, but she still had she didn't look like he looks like a teenager doing these things.
Yeah.
I think that's the curse of his face at this point. He's like 27.
Yeah, I think, like you said with Tom Holland, I think he can't escape. I mean, a lot of actors with the big projects, big Marvel actors, at least they had the experience of doing other projects first. Benedict Cumberbatch had a storied catalogue of films before he was Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., obviously Iron Man revived his career, but he had a career before that. You could say even Chris Evans, you know, I remember, sometimes when I look at Chris Evans, I don't know whether to think of him as Johnny Storm or Captain America.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I remember him as the douche in Perfect Score, but I felt like he always played like, even in Johnny Storm, he was like douchey guy.
Even in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, he was the douche as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of these actors have like managed to cement a somewhat of a career before this, where with Tom Holland, of course, he was in plays and films, but this was like, we are introducing Tom Holland to the world as Spider-Man. And he hasn't been able to like break away with that because the other projects just haven't been up to par.
Yeah.
And that must be frustrating for him, because it's like, you know, of course, playing Spider-Man is iconic. It's probably the biggest superhero in the world right now. But as an actor, I can imagine that's super limiting, especially when your other projects aren't being watched or aren't being critically acclaimed.
I think he would have to take the Robert Pattinson route, but it would be like, does he have the talent of Robert Pattinson, who is incredibly talented, right? Because he did not only Harry Potter, but then he was introduced to us as Twilight, which at the time was huge. Yeah. And we didn't respect him, but then he started doing things like The Lighthouse, Tenet. And so we were like, all right, we got you.
I remember watching a video on YouTube. I think it was Nerdstalgic that made the video. It was about Leonardo DiCaprio's career, and it was a very similar career. Leonardo DiCaprio entered, you know, as like in Romeo, as like the Hollywood sweetheart, you know, conventionally attractive boy. In like projects like Romeo and Juliet, and then obviously Titanic, just one of the biggest films of all time. And Leonardo DiCaprio kind of had a moment in his career where it's like, okay, I could ride the coattails of this, and apparently he was in early consideration for Anakin Skywalker.
Interesting.
He was in early consideration for Anakin Skywalker, but he turned down the role because he wanted to be respected as like a pure actor. Then he sought out Martin Scorsese for There Will Be Blood, which he starred alongside Daniel Day-Lewis, and obviously Daniel Day-Lewis is like one of the most respected actors out there, and that kind of like reframed how people looked at him, because it was like, oh, you're not just a pretty boy, like you're an actor, and I think with Tom Holland there might be a thing where, I don't know how much longer he's going to be Spider-Man for, but it might be a thing post Spider-Man. He starts to like, okay, let me find these almost art house directors and kind of make these auteur films. I don't want to like separate Marvel and these like Oscar films, because I think all entertainment's valid and credible. But maybe it's a thing with Tom Holland where he needs to just find a passion project after this, because his other projects haven't been great, and I really like Tom Holland as an actor.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I don't know. He need to talk to Zendaya's agent. They got her doing. I think the thing about Zendaya is every role she does is so starkly different than the others. Like, she's done like Casey Undercover, and then she's done like Mary Jane, and then she's like Rue, where she's an addict. So it's like so many different types of Zendaya versus like, when I watched Uncharted, I was like, this is Spider-Man again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about how have you found JJK season 2?
I love JJK season 2. I rewatched it. I liked it so much that when it was done, I rewatched the first season because it adds so much more color and context to the first season and the movie. And you know, I made a video about how I'm really sad that Ghetto is not Ghetto anymore. And I get some of it, right? Like Ghetto is very pretentious and he's, what's the word? It's not racist, but he wouldn't work with cursed spirits himself. So like in that aspect, Ghetto wouldn't be but that part of the plan. He would only work with like sorcerers. But I was like, I think we could have found a way for him to align himself with curses to get his job. Because there's a line where he says in the prequel where he's like, he's pressing Gojo right before he leaves and goes into the ether, and he's like, hey, are you saying that my plan is ridiculous because I'm not you and I'm not capable of it? If you were telling me that plan, would you think that it was like terrifying? Like, and then he says that line, are you Gojo because whatever?
You're the strongest, or you're the strongest because you're Gojo.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I was watching that scene when he, swallowed Mojito, which is his ability. So he swallowed Mojito, and now he has the power to change Tokyo, and he does it. He does what he set out to do. I was like, imagine this is his Ghetto after he told Gojo, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do, and he achieves it. I just felt like it'd be cathartic. You know what I mean?
I think what I look at Ghetto as is like, it's like a character parallel I always see is like it's easy one, but Magneto, in the terms of like the Jujutsu Society, and you made a great video about like comparing like Jujutsu Society to like conservatives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Jujutsu Society is inherently like not only corrupt, but curses come from humans. Yeah. So as sorcerers, they are sent out there as literal child soldiers to exercise these curses, and his ability is so fascinating because he's the only one that actually has to ingest these curses. Yeah. So it's like it's a metaphor for like for sorcerers as a whole, where they have to take the burden of the world's pressures, and they don't get any credit for it, don't get any thanks for it. They die on the job. Yeah. And he saw with the two little girls that wider society despises them for being sorcerers. So his solution was, hey, if I eliminate all of you guys, all of humanity, our people will be free.
Yeah, what is that, 10%, 5% of the population? Because it's also, I think, and they explain it in like the last episode or so, Japan is like the place with the most curses. So they're the only place really with sorcerers, right? Like there was that African guy in the movie.
Yeah, Miguel.
But
which I think is so interesting that Japan, because I picked up on this. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard about the working conditions of MAPPA employees. Season 2. But I find it like extremely poetic that season 2 is the one that introduced the concept of Japan having the most curses, because Japan, we notoriously know their strict work culture, work-life balance. Like a lot of people end up like dying on their desks at work, and even in the production of this season, like morale was an absolute low. So Japan being like the epicenter of like curses which are bred from a negative emotions, and Japan having like cases like the fertility rate's low, marriage rate's low, like the
suicide rate is high.
Like it's almost like Gege speaking to like the general like feeling of the country.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
It's like, yo, this is a problem emblematic of us as a nation, and he's using his narrative to tell that story. Yeah. About like, so when we found out Japan was like in terms of like had the most cursed spirits, I was like, this has to be like an allegory for like Japanese society.
And I think, especially since Japanese society hides behind kawaii culture and like the cute, Hello Kitty. And they have a really dark and deep past. Right now, I'm rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is very, I feel guilty watching it in England because it's definitely a huge critique on English and German, like colonialism and stuff like that. But so I was watching it, I was talking to a friend about it, and he had brought it up like, it's interesting that they are so, even with like Attack on Titan and things, they are critiquing white culture when they themselves are also colonizers and like they're just suppressing their people and trying to pretend that it doesn't happen. And I was like, yeah, we forget that they were actual Nazis. Like they were aligned with the Nazis. They were like, let's do this. They were kamikazes. Like they were throwing
Japanese
planes.
history of them invading other Asian countries. Like there's
Koreans.
Yeah, like I have like a few like Asian co-workers, and like we talk about like the hatred some of these countries have for Japan because of their problematic history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which we don't know, especially America, where our only pipeline to Japanese culture is through the things that they give us, right? So it's through Hello Kitty, it's through anime, it's through that. And so at least in myself, and I know a lot of my contemporaries wouldn't even consider them being that problematic.
No.
And it also feels, at least for myself, it feels like something I shouldn't discuss or explore, because like it's one thing for me to talk about white people, but it's another for me to talk about another minority group.
Yeah.
And I gotta get over that because they're oppressing people in the same way. But I also don't like to give racist people ammunition to be more racist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know,
it's a conversation that I'm like, it's a conversation that should be had, but it's like, just because we're talking about this doesn't mean like I'm ignoring the structure of white supremacy. And I think I think us as you know, as black folk as well. Well, most people across the world have been oppressed by white supremacy.
Yeah.
Whether we talk to Southern Asians, where you talk about the Commonwealth, whether you talk to Latinos, whether you talk to Africans, like white supremacy is a thing that's permeated the rest of the globe. So that's at the front of our thought process. But like you said, Japan has just a history of these things. And while we can talk about Japan, doesn't mean, like you said, we're giving all of you guys in the comment section ammunition to go for Japan, because we are not defending the white colonial structure or white supremacy.
There's also the added fact that I'm American.
Yeah.
And it's very weird when like somebody be like, you're American, because I'm like, America don't even fuck with me like that. No. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're saying things about America or like attributing certain things of America to me that not only does it not pertain to me, but I wasn't allowed to participate or be a part of that. When it did happen, like when Pearl Harbor happened, there were no black people in the room with Oppenheimer. You know what I mean? No. Like when those concentration people, I'm sure that maybe there were people in the army, black people in the army, but for the most part, all those generals.
We were not the ones making decisions.
Exactly. And we're just getting to a point where we're making decisions.
Yeah.
And even those black people are going under the structure of white supremacists. Like they recruit them at 17, 18, maybe younger on ROTC, and then just brainwash them into that. So then it feels weird for me to critique the Japanese, and it just take one Japanese person to be like, this American talk to me about and I'm like, damn, I should sit down,
Yeah, I totally hear you. But in regards to like JJK season 2, for me, I'm like a huge like battle shonen guy, and I love it. Like my favorite anime of all times, like Yu Yu Hakusho. Like
they have the best tournament arc, I think, of all.
Dark Tournament is spectacular.
Yeah,
I've rewatched that arc so many times. But for me, as like a shonen fan, I won't say I became disillusioned with the genre, but I just thought I was very disappointed by My Hero Academia. I thought My Hero Academia had an amazing premise, and I liked the first 3 seasons, but I just felt the world of the superheroes was fun in terms of I was very fascinated by the different quirks, or how like quirks are hereditary, and how being a superhero isn't like, it's a job for most people. A lot of these superheroes see this as a job, but for some reason, I fell out of love with My Hero Academia.
Did you watch the most recent season?
I stopped around season 5.
That's why. Season 5 was terrible, but season 6 is incredible. Yeah. And that world that we've been introduced to doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
It's dystopia. I can't, like, you wouldn't even recognize it once you get to season 6 because of the events. Like, you didn't finish season 5 because they paced it so oddly where, like, the first like 5 or 6 episodes were almost completely filler.
Yeah.
And then it's like the last 3 they rush and try to set up season 6. But in season 6, I'm gonna kind of spoil it.
Go ahead.
The villains get what they want.
Yeah.
Stain. The villains are just running a fucking muck. The hero society is basically dismantled, and they're everyday Deku is by himself trying to figure out how to save people. And it's worth the wait, because I think the thing is, it took a little bit too long to get there, but once you get there, you're there.
Yes.
And it's the same type of critique on the government, right? Where Stain says it in like season 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That philosophy, and even Stain himself returns, where they're like talking about like the impropriety, the corruption within the hero society. Hawks becomes like this guy who's like a double agent and has to decide whether or not he has to kill someone. So it becomes a whole Endeavor gets called out for his crimes. Dabu starts reading him to films. It gets really good. I don't want to spoil
Do you know what
things
it
for
is?
you.
Like, I will get back to My Hero, but it's just one of those things where it was like, I'm out of the series. But then I think Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 started off as like, okay, this is a fun shonen battle manga. But what it was, I call it like a wolf hidden in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
In the sense where all the events of Shibuya, even Jujutsu Society being as corrupt as it is, was told to us from day one. But it was masked under, hey, this is a, typical battle shonen, we've got our main cast of characters.
Yeah.
But then what Shibuya did, and even Hidden Inventory, was flip the series on its head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shibuya gave me so much more appreciation for Gojo, because Gojo, as like the idea of Gojo being the strongest, is obviously like he's the strongest person in the verse. He can handle all problems, but it shows like how disjointed Jujutsu Society was, because he goes away, and not only does the Shibuya incident happen, we can see Jujutsu Society crumbles. Now Itadori's a marked man. Now the president of Jutsu High is being hunted down. Gojo as the strongest isn't just like a power level. He's literally the only thing that was keeping Jujutsu Society afloat.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's removed from the equation, chaos ensues.
Yeah, I actually I knew something bad was going to happen once I saw it was called the Shibuya incident.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, for sure they're going to be on the run by the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what happened that day, but I knew for sure a bunch of people were going to die. I thought it was going to be Itadori, which did happen, was going to let off Sukuna and then like all that stuff. But the 3 orders that the Jujutsu Society put out, none of it shocked me, right? They've been wanting Itadori dead.
Yeah.
They've been wanting Gojo dead. And the principal facilitated all of that. He's the one who gave the go-ahead. He was the one who, fostered Gojo and gave him that power, gave him that position. And beyond that, I think Gojo was building a community of young sorcerers. And so they're like, how do we structure it where we can get him out and take control? Because they didn't feel like they had control over anything. And honestly, he didn't set it up. That's some of his hubris, right? In his mind, he'll always be there. So he has some plan. I'm sure Yuta is working for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I didn't read the manga, but I'm not a dummy. I've read enough books to know he would not be like, yeah, let me go kill Itadori.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. He didn't. But either way, I was like, beyond that, I don't think he set up a type of structure to prepare if he was gone, because in his head he would never be gone.
And that's the isolating thing about Gojo's power, where his intentions are good to up even his idea of, let me set up a young generation, because if I kill all of these higher ups, it doesn't change the structure.
Yeah,
I need to put people in place to fulfill these positions in the future. But because he's Gojo, he always believes I'm a constant. That's what even I am the honored one.
Yeah,
I will be here. So the fact that he is removed from the equation and there's nothing set in place.
Yeah.
So like Yuta's all the way in Africa.
Yeah,
The person, because when Fate Ghetto captures him, he's like, hey, there's someone who beat you, Yuta, but he's not there.
Yeah.
The system wasn't there for Yuta to immediately succeed him because Gojo was going to be around forever in his mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the isolating thing about power. And even we saw it in the relation between Gojo and Geto, where the power between Gojo and Geto is what isolated them. Because while Gojo was being sent on these missions, Geto was the only person that had to like tangibly deal with these curses in terms of like ingesting them, exercising them. With Gojo, it's like he is so above everyone else's plane of existence that sometimes he loses sight of reality. And that's kind of what happened. As soon as he left, chaos ensued.
Absolutely. I think that's it. And even Geto, you see that's even in that prequel, like, what's Megumi's father's name?
Toji.
Toji. When Toji comes, he kills, obviously, and gets Gojo out of the way, but he's brutal to Geto. Yeah. And I'm like, even in that instinct, right? People are more cruel to him. Like, he has to endure things differently than Gojo because everybody's goal is to get Gojo out the way. Yeah. So he has to suffer. He has to watch his girl get shot in the head. He has to get kicked in the face. Why he kick him after he knocked him out?
And then he kicked him
in the face and called him a dog.
And they called him a monkey. And then that thing, that kick to the face that Toji gave Geto scarred him so much that he started calling other people monkeys.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Like and I think it's ironic. Sorry to cut you off, but I think it's ironic that the one, because Toji is a normal human. He hasn't got any curse techniques. The one human that called him a monkey, he took that and started projecting it onto regular humans. He never let go of that loss. Yeah. He never moved past it. That shit stuck with him.
I think, and I've been meaning to make a video just to map out my thoughts, but I love watching how Geto versus Gojo uses their appearance to get what they want from then on in the same way, right? Like Gojo uses it kind of like, I'm charming, I'm funny, but he has that power to back him up. But in Geto, we see him like using it to get money, manipulating people to the point that when he meets, everybody's name is so serious, Yuta. Yeah. And he sees Yuta has Rhea. He's like, oh, this your hoe? Like, this your girl? Yeah. And I'm like, because in Geto's mind, that's what he's used to doing. He used to manipulate. We see him manipulating women for money. We see him kind of use that like paternal thing with those two little girls. And that's something else that I found very interesting is that after that instance where he's discriminated against and called a monkey, from then on, he's like, I'm going to be dapper, dressed to the nines, traditional. I'm gonna get a whole following, and like that's the way that that's the direction he goes.
And then it's so interesting that he even becomes like this cult leader, because we see him when he finally becomes a villain in Hidden Inventory, he's like preaching to like a group of people. Yeah. And I find it interesting because the moment he snapped was when he saw, what was her name? What was the friend that befriended? I think it's not Rika, it's something.
I'm sure the blonde woman?
No, not the blonde woman. The girl that ended up dying at the hands of Toji. The girl that Toji shot.
Yeah, I think it's Rika. I don't know.
It's something. Forgive us. But when she dies, like she dies at the hands of this religious group. Yes. And then he ends up forming his own like cult, like religious group.
Doesn't he take over that group?
Yeah, he takes over that group. And it's just like, Geto as a character is super fascinating, but the thing about season 2 that I noticed were the parallels between Sukuna and Gojo. Yeah. In terms of, if you look at their faces while they're fighting, the ecstasy, the joy they feel. Like when Gojo is fighting, he always fights with a smile on his face. Yeah. And that's obviously an indication of power. But I think for beings like Sukuna and Gojo, their power is their release. No one can relate to them in normal society, but the only way they get to express themselves is through fighting. We saw in season 1 when Sukuna fought Jogo, just the joy on his face, like, let me show my pupil how I fight. And we saw it with Sukuna this season. The scene's been memed to death, but it's the scene where Jogo's forming a meteor and Sukuna comes down
and he's like, wait.
And he's like, wait. But he's doing it to be a troll, but I think with Sukuna, obviously he's been imprisoned in Itadori's body, but fighting is a freedom of expression for him.
Absolutely.
And we could see the whole time he was fighting Mahoraga, the joy and ecstasy on their face, and I can't wait for them to eventually meet, because they are so similar to each other. And in fact, we even see, like, I wouldn't say foreshadowing, but we even see in Hidden Inventory that Gojo could have easily become Sukuna if it wasn't for Geto. Because I remember the scene where, again, the girl dies and Gojo's like, we could kill everyone here. And Gojo's like, we can kill everyone here. And Geto's like, we can't do that because we're sorcerers. Yeah. And even the scene where they're playing basketball, Gojo has the mentality of, we're the strongest. We could do with the world as we please. And that's the exact same mentality Sukuna has.
Yeah.
The world is Sukuna's oyster. And it's just so interesting to see, like, how certain choices have made these characters deviate in completely different paths.
Honestly, yes. And that was the whole point. Even them switching Geto and Gojo. And we see that, right? Like, when Gojo comes back to life, essentially, and goes to fight Toji, he's high. Yeah. He's floating, and Toji's like, is this guy high? Like, he's in ecstasy. Like, he's feeling it. And even in present day, he just starts picking a fight with Megami because he wants to feel alive again. Yeah. Like, he's like, I need to feel what I felt when I fought your father, and I know it's in you. And I think that that's so interesting, that parallel with Sukuna, where he's like, hey, I'm having fun. Yeah. Even like when he's fighting that cursed spirit, the one that he kills and like goes to the afterlife to tell him good game.
And you but then the difference is, one thing are different is when Gojo fought Jogo, there was like, Gojo was like, you are weak. But when Sukuna fought Jogo, was like, you are strong. So like the difference in, even though Sukuna's this dastardly villain, there was a level of like humility there, or a level of respect.
I don't think Gojo respects a cursed spirit.
Yeah, there's a level of respect where it was like, you're actually strong. Where Gojo, the hero, was like, get your weak ass out of here.
Yeah, he was like a domain. Get
your weak ass out of here. It was like, it's interesting. I just can't wait for those two characters to meet, because they are so similar to each other. Yeah. But they just took divergent paths. There was one thing I also wanted to talk to you about. The one take I disagreed with you, but I understood where you were coming from. It was the whole discourse about Martin Scorsese.
With Killers of the Flower Moon?
I haven't seen that movie yet, so I won't discuss that movie in particular. But you made the point that, and correct me if I'm misquoting you, but it was the point that some of Martin Scorsese's films are not gratuitous.
Yeah, like The Irishman.
Yeah.
Like, I can acknowledge that he's a good filmmaker, and he's for the film people. But does that make an entertaining movie? You know what I mean?
I would say two of his most critically, well, not most, but two of the most entertaining films I've seen from Scorsese that are the ones that are very entertaining. Wolf of Wall Street.
And even, I love Wolf of Wall Street. After the last last section, the last act is gratuitous. I could go without it. You get what I'm saying? And honestly, Wolf of Wall Street, which I find entertaining, I have a huge critique, because even though Jordan Belfort is a criminal and someone he is not.
He's too likable.
He's too likable, where like you want him to win and he doesn't show. And honestly, I didn't watch Oppenheimer, which wasn't done by him, for that same reason, where we humanize terrible people. Oppenheimer especially, even I had brought it up like in a quick line where I was like, Oppenheimer wouldn't have done as good if it wasn't for Barbie. And people were like defending Oppenheimer. And I was like, and now this is his legacy. Oppenheimer, the guy, where like a lot of details were changed and a lot of things were made to make him seem like a nuanced, humanized person, when he was a terrible guy who's not forced to be in the military, who's not forced to do this stuff, who tested on indigenous people, who who's responsible for millions and millions of people's deaths. Wall Street is terrible, and it's destroying American economy. Yeah. And Jordan Belfort is a huge contributor to that. And he was cheating on his wife. He was coked up. He was beating his wife, and I never not liked him. That whole movie.
I would say the movie is supposed to like it's the first part of the movie is supposed to show how much of a cult of personality Jordan Belfort is.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to like give you, okay, what's the allure of this life? And I think what Martin Scorsese was trying to do was like, the movie was like excessive, like intentionally, but what I say where the ending kind of like missed was like, okay, we've had the come up. The come down needs to be like tremendous, and we need to see the people he was affecting, because I think with coming out of Wolf of Wall Street, you don't understand why what Jordan Belfort did was bad. You know that he's committing fraud, but he was defrauding regular people. These weren't people who had disposable. It's not like you're defrauding billionaires who have excess money to spend. You're defrauding regular workers. You're defrauding the average person. Like when he first joins his first.
He was doing penny stocks.
Yeah.
That's stuff we would do, right?
Yeah.
I put in my last $200. You're promising me I'd be rich like the people on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Or he was getting like $5,000 to the point where old boy was like, I'd suck your dick if you could get $5,000 from these people. Yeah. And he did. And you're right. They never show the guy like, I lost my house. I lost everything. They never show even his wife, who he just drops off the side for Margot, right? Yeah. They never show her again. Yeah. You never see her again.
Like and I get, here's the thing. I get, like, if Martin Scorsese was trying to tell the story of that there's no consequence for the rich, which there wasn't. He went to a really swanky jail, and now Jordan Belfort to this day is still doing public seminars. He was in the and that's the problem I have. He should have never been in that movie.
I agree.
He should have never been in that movie. I feel like the first 2 hours were perfect because I felt like you need to see why this life is alluring.
Agreed.
You need to be the same way the workers are. You need to be sucked into this life. But we need to see the ramifications that he had on other people. We know Jordan Belfort in real life didn't suffer any consequences, but we need to see. In order to understand the movie, we need to see the people he affected.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by the gratuitous, right? Yeah. And like, even if you've ever seen Snowfall, which is by your countryman, right? I love David Iglesias. He that's how it ends, right? We see that gratuitous lifestyle where he's like living it up. We see everybody's living I always want to call her Frankie, Louie. Yeah. Louie is she got a horse. Like, everybody's living it up. And we see the people they affect.
There's a whole arc about Wanda becoming a crackhead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She becomes a crackhead. He becomes a crackhead. Yeah. His dad died. Like, we see true ramifications for someone that we see that is likable, lovable. You know what I mean? Breaking Bad. Now, they had considerable more time to do it. I'm trying to think of a movie that does the same thing. But to your point, and to my point, like, Martin Scorsese is for the boys. He makes movies for the boys, a lot of it. Now, I know he's produced and given money to, like, other projects, but I'm talking about his signature projects, The Irishman, which is 3 hours of white men.
The Irishman's one of his worst projects.
You know, people love The Irishman.
I think this it's good, but like, I would like peak Martin Scorsese for me is The Departed, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street.
White as fuck. These are all very white movies.
But the reason why I hear it, because he's speaking to Martin Scorsese grew up in, like, he's
New York. New York. He grew up in Brooklyn. There's black people everywhere.
That is his experience. And I feel like the reason why I say, like, Goodfellas, for example, I hold it up so highly because Goodfellas is the one movie where you see, like, the consequence.
Okay, that's fair.
You see you see how sick some of these mafia guys are. Yeah. Especially like I can't remember the character's name. It's not Jimmy. It's damn, I'm forgetting the actor's name. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with names.
I haven't seen Goodfellas since.
But you know the scene is like funny how, right? That character is we are not meant to. He's deranged, and every character in that movie, we start off liking them. And by the end of the movie, we despise all of them.
That's how it should be.
And I feel like, and even in another movie, The Departed, I adore that movie. Everyone in that movie dies.
Damn, I do like The Departed. That's the one with Ben Affleck? No, I'm thinking of someone else. Who's in it? But it's in Boston, right? The Department is in Boston. Yeah, he's from Brooklyn though. Like, imagine if there was a actor from, where did you say from, the East End?
Yeah, East London. Yeah,
East London, and they were doing these movies. A white guy from East London, and he did a movie, about like the white mafia and no black people were involved, you'd be like, this is sus. Ain't no way. Even the racists, even in The Sopranos, they was calling the slurs, but we was in it. You know what I mean? Like it's that's just the reason why I don't like him.
That's it. Matt Damon. That's
Matt Damon.
It was Matt Damon.
I mix him up with Ben Affleck all the time. So like,
yeah, there was Matt Damon. It was. I think when in The Departed, it was more so Irish gangs. I think because it was the.
But that's Boston. Boston. I'll give him a pass. Boston white as fuck. I would never. I don't even visit
with
Boston
Martin
like that.
Scorsese, right? And here's the thing: I would rather, and it's gonna sound like a cop out, but with Martin Scorsese, I'll say this: he is very much telling his story and the story he grew up with. I'd rather him tell that than try to misrepresent us.
That's fair.
Because that's the one thing that I think. If you're going to represent black people, having black people isn't just enough.
Yeah.
There needs to be active, and I'm not saying Martin Scorsese can't do the research. He absolutely can. But I feel like too many directors are now just ticking a box. Where it's like,
I agree.
We have black stories, but we're not empowering black voices to write these stories.
But I also think that there's room for them to just include black characters that are written the same way that they're like auxiliary white characters would be written. And that's what I mean. I agree. Like, I don't want him to write a story about like Paid in Full, or Juice. I don't want him to write that. But like, if he does Goodfellas and they're interacting with people in Queens or Brooklyn who's dealing crack or like buying guns from them or something like that, that character, you know what I mean? Like, they're not saying they have to be a full character, but just someone that's on the outside. I'm watching Power right now.
Yeah.
Tony Danza's in it. Not Tony Danza. The other very Italian, very famous. What's his name? I don't know. Stanza, whatever.
Yeah.
He's an actor, an Italian actor. He's in it. He's in the mob, and they're a second group. And we as black people, when we make projects, we always have to include. If we want it to be considered something that's like nationally known, we always have to include a white person in it, right?
Yeah.
Or a white family or a white something. And those characters are never not fleshed out.
That is fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like, Craig of the Creek is a cartoon with a black character who's the head of it. Both his friends had to be white for it to pop off.
It can't be an exclusively black cast unless like you're doing something that's
Tyler Perry.
Oh yeah, I can't stand Tyler Perry, but
it's hard.
It's hard. It's and that's the thing. Sometimes like to pivot the conversation, sometimes like as a like wanting to see black voices in the space, and when we see the prominent ones like Tyler Perry, I'm like, I want to support you, but I just can't. I can't do it, man. And I've seen a few. I've not even just outside of the Medea ones. I think the first Tyler Perry movie I saw that wasn't Medea related was like Temptations. That was the one where.
Which one was the one with? They're just riddled with stereotypes and colorism and.
Yeah, and that's
it's
why.
hard.
And that's why for me, I think one of my favorite black TV shows ever is Lovecraft Country.
Yes, excellent.
I adore that show because I think what they did is I'd always wanted to see black people in fantasy.
Yeah.
But what it did is that it was obviously set in a time period where like obviously segregation, racism is still a thing. But they used magic as a power structure that suppressed us, but also as a power structure that we could take.
Yeah.
And the exploration of that was fascinating. That's why I was so furious when it didn't get a season 2, because I was like...
I felt like the story ended too, so it was cool.
I feel like the stories for every character involved ended, but I wanted to live in that universe for a bit longer.
That's fair.
Because Atticus kind of like had now given black people access to magic.
Yeah.
I want to see a universe there.
I agree.
I feel like there's another universe now. For so long, even in the universe, magic was a tool used to oppress us. Now we live in a universe where we have access to it. That is so interesting.
So did you like Watchmen? That's a black story.
Yeah, I like Watchmen.
I love it. It was the same way where like he wrote Watchmen to be one season.
Yeah.
To be a miniseries. But after, I was like, the most powerful being in the universe is a black woman, and I want to see how that universe lives. Yeah. I feel you. I think the thing I was worried about with Lovecraft Country, especially since the reading material had stopped there,
yeah,
I was afraid that and it's not that I don't trust them, but I feel like whenever people go beyond what the material goes, even in things like Game of Thrones and stuff like that,
I could be here.
it
for
gets
hours.
lost. Yeah, I know season 8 is whatever, but you know, the plot gets lost, and then the characters and the people involved in it, or even what makes the story special, becomes like a caricature of what it once was, because they're stretching it beyond what it was supposed to be. And then I was thinking about like Jonathan Majors right now. I was like, damn, what if Lovecraft Country was still popping off? Like how it ruined it and the story.
I mean,
and stuff.
to be fair, his character's dead. So you just keep him dead.
I think they was gonna bring him back, right?
I don't know.
They probably would have brought him back.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And it's even hard to watch back that show now because he's such an integral part of the show.
A central part. And I'm like,
and I really like his character as well. So I'm like,
how long before he called Journey Smollett correct? How long in that show when he called her that? You know what I mean?
yeah, Coretta. You're my Coretta.
You're my Coretta. We're
You're
gonna
my
get through this.
Coretta.
Use that magic like
No, but she
Coretta.
really was his Coretta.
She was his Coretta. It was the 50s too. She looked just like her.
Yeah.
Insane.
Insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah. I brought some snacks. I don't know if you want to try them.
I do want to try these snacks.
Yeah, so this is a Jaffa cake. I don't really particularly like these, but like they're a British staple, and I felt like it'd be a disservice if I didn't like. They're basically like biscuits, or you guys call them cookies, but yeah,
It looks like Velveeta, like Kraft.
it probably does.
Is this cheesy? No, this is the orange.
Orange, it's like chocolatey orange. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see. This is not promising. Oh, it's soft.
Yeah.
Is there orange in here?
Yeah, it's just like orange flavored.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
What would you rate it? Try it.
10?
Try it 1 for 10.
A 6?
A 6. Not bad. Jaffa
What was that your Keith? I just saw your hands. Was that your Keithley? Hilarious. It's a 6.
Let's try it. Rate it 1 for 10.
I like that the cookie's soft. The orange is an odd choice.
Yeah.
It's an odd choice to make.
Yeah. This
All
is
right.
yeah. Jaffa cakes. That's 1.
Okay.
And then we have got. This is a British staple. Digestive biscuits. This is a British staple.
Is it gonna make me go to the bathroom?
No.
Okay.
Again, it's like
You eat it with tea? Do you drink tea?
yeah. You kind of dunk it with tea, but
I heard to get a British man, you have to have tea with you and biscuits. Is that true? Is that all British men or white British men?
All it applies to all white British men and some British black men.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Why all your cookies look the same?
This is just
Chocolate on the bottom. This is what y'all do.
yeah, that's kind of a staple. Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
That one's hard.
Yeah. It's not soft. Like our biscuits are like hard.
I think Toll House does this better.
Yeah.
They have a cookie that's like chocolate and has little stripes on it.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty good. Or the Girl Scouts, they have a cookie called
So
the
what would you say
Samoa.
is better, like the Jaffa cake or this, or the digestives?
I would say they're the same. I think if I was dipping this in tea, it'd be a little better.
Yeah.
But it's not John Blaze. Like I'm not eating it like, oh, this is incredible. I need to. It's all right.
Cool. 1 for 10.
Okay, 1 to 10. That's a 6 too.
That's 6. Now, guys, I had to bring the sensations. There's a lot of crisps that we have, but this I stand by. Me and then Ilmi in the back have vouched and verified this. So we're gonna have Frankie try it. Just know that if you do not like these, we cannot guarantee your safety going home.
No, when I go home, they're gonna come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I will say the marketing for this is incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, pressure. I thought they were coming to see if I like it. All right, look, Caesar. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yes. Thai sweet chili.
There's a spice at the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just the sweet chili. To be fair, like even now, like people have debated that it used to taste better like 5 years ago because like there was like a massive sugar tax in this country. So a lot of the stuff were a lot more sweet back then. But yeah,
I could see like if this was a little sweeter, it'd be better. This is really good though. We don't have any chips that taste anything like this. Yeah, this is good.
we got seasoning over here.
This says Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not English. Imported seasoning. Okay.
Yeah, that's who brings the flavor. That's who brings the flavor.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't sure if you. Oh, let me see. Do you guys have Milky Bars in the States? So this is.
I don't know. Maybe down south.
Yeah, we got Milky Bars right over here. We got Milky Bars. I tried to find some other chocolate. I know some people are going to be in the comment section saying, why did you put this chocolate? Listen, Milky Bars.
I can't stop eating these chips. They're so good.
No, they're good. They're good.
Okay, so this is Milky Bar. What's it?
It's just white chocolate, basically.
Just white chocolate by itself?
No. You'll see. I haven't eaten those since I was a kid.
They might not even be what you remember it to be.
Hey, we're gonna find out. If I'll even try one with you.
Yeah, good.
I'll even try one with you. I'm not eating this in a while.
I was by Nestle.
Yeah. Fun fact, I'm not even a chocolate guy like that.
Really?
I don't like. No.
I like chocolate. It's all right. I think I need like chocolate or we have something, the Hershey's.
We got Hershey's over here.
The cookies and creams flavor. That's a little better. But that's just like, I think it's for children. It's all sugar. So wait, they have a sugar tax so companies use less sugar and stuff?
Yeah. Health requirements and stuff like that.
Really? I thought you guys were already thin naturally.
We are, but okay. We're not as bad as you guys, respectfully.
Excuse me.
But respectfully, we're not as bad as you guys.
Yeah.
But like there is obviously anyway, well, there's like an obese population here. So
I wonder what's the obese population though? They're like a 4X. Like you don't have 1,000-pound people.
No, we don't. We don't. It's like probably like a 3X, like three, or like double XL.
That's standard in America. Standard like outside of like New York is and LA and Miami are pretty thin.
Would you say because you got to walk around a lot?
No, I think it's more the culture in terms of like there's so much entertainment, as in like entertainment jobs, and people just feel pressure. So like the exercise. Okay. Definitely we walk. In LA, you don't walk anywhere. I visit there often, and when I go, I'll try to walk, and people are like, "What are you doing? Like, get it together," type thing.
Yeah, but yeah, over here, like, yeah, there was a massive like tax on like sugar and even like certain foods. Like I remember, like when I was in like primary school, which is kindergarten, I think. Like there was like Jamie Oliver, the chef, was like, "Oh yeah, we need to cut out a lot of food. Like we couldn't even get chicken nuggets in school anymore."
Seriously?
Not in school. Obviously, you can get them outside, but not in school. They used to serve them with like fries and stuff. They cut that all out.
Interesting.
They cut that all out. So like our food in school was pretty bland.
Oh, our lunch food is terrible. It's pizza and chicken fingers and all that stuff.
Yeah. We ain't getting that pizza. We got pizza when we were good. We got pizza like on a Friday. It's like, hey guys, it's golden time. So guess what we do the pizza. But
what's golden time?
Golden time is like that happened in like kindergarten, where it was like, hey, the kids are really good, so for the last hour of the day we're gonna like dance around, like we're gonna go off curriculum, just dance, play music, just kind of like happy hour basically for kids. So that's what golden time was, and then that's when we got like pizzas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to try the McDonald's out here and see if you guys use real chicken in your nuggets.
Absolutely not.
Oh, you don't? The same nuggets?
Absolutely not.
Me and my friend who's vegan was debating on whether or not she could eat the nuggets, because I was like, I don't think there's any chicken in there. It's probably but she was like, nah. We looked it up. There's like some animal parts in it.
So what? So this is my outdated information. For what I know, when it comes to chicken nuggets, it's like it's meat, but it's like carcass that's blended, all together, and then obviously frozen. And then
they throw a lot of soy in there.
Yeah,
I think plastic.
Yeah, they put whatever. They throw some
want.
nasty stuff in there. But we got some juices as well to try. I would say this is better cold, but this has been sitting there for a minute. But this is Sud Exotic. My guys and ends, the man them will know about Sud Exotic pineapple and coconut, a hood staple, an end staple.
You drink it by yourself or you mix it with alcohol?
Oh, this is a good alcohol mix.
It looks like it. I was like, ooh, that sounds delicious. You mix it with some tequila.
You could drink it by yourself, but by itself,
this Malibu is too sweet for me.
It's too sweet.
Yeah, you don't think so?
No, I think it's all right. Do you know what it is? I like my drinks to kind of mask the taste of
alcohol?
Yeah.
Nah, I actually like alcohol. And I don't have a taste. I went with my friends to a soul food restaurant in California, and I had Kool-Aid for the first time, and it was too sweet, and they were so disappointed.
That might be sweet.
No, but this is like naturally sweet. I like this. Damn, this with some tequila would cook, or I don't like vodka. Yeah, or gin. Throw some gin in there. I drink whiskey too.
So what would you say? Because I'm a rum type of guy. I like my rum.
You like because you don't like the taste of alcohol. You can mix this with rum.
Yeah. Do you know it depends. Like I like the taste of like rum and some things, but I like rum and vodka. But I despise gin. I don't really like tequila.
I love
whiskey.
Gin.
Whiskeys I can drink by itself. I don't like mixing.
Do you
whiskey.
guys drink Hennessy out here?
Yeah, we drink it because of you guys.
Oh, because we made it cool. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't like Hennessy like that.
That's fair. Hennessy is not good. It's
trash. I don't like it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like it.
Do you guys smoke weed out here?
Yeah.
Is it legal?
No.
Why do you say it like that? Like
no. But everyone like you know you hit up the guy and then
the man though.
You hit up the man them and
we could actually meet Sully if we like.
We asked her.
He asked her for a little weed. Like now, you could go to a store and get weed in New York.
Oh, really?
Like the corner stores, the smoke shops, they'll be half bodega, half. Let me get an eighth of sativa. Yeah. And in LA, they have like nice. But they're expensive. I would never buy from there.
Yeah, over here it's not like that. You gotta get your stuff from.
You gotta get it on the hush.
Yeah,
you guys are so proper. That's why. But you can smoke a cigarette wherever. That kills you.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Weed doesn't kill you.
No, it doesn't. But like our government's backwards.
Yeah.
Because tobacco, like beer and like cigarettes are such an ingrained part of UK culture.
Yeah.
Where it's like. Only before you could smoke in like buildings, but like now you can't do that. But yeah, like weed in this country, nah.
No, we're the same. We're pretty criminal towards weed, especially in New York. Like it's legal, but you can't smoke it anywhere, technically.
Yeah.
But we do. But
our shit is illegal. But carnival. So when we have carnival in the UK, which is around about like November.
Oh my God, that's freezing. Why would you have carnival then?
August, sorry.
August. I was like, you gotta be naked in November.
No, August. Okay. August. We're having around August. Yeah, niggas be smoking weed and just like police will just be like.
Nah, whenever we have a music festival, it's just a cloud of weed. Like, I don't even really bring weed because I'm like, I'm gonna get high as soon as I walk up in there. Yeah.
We have like CBD spots, but like that's not the same.
No,
it's not the same. But yeah, you could you could get it here. You just gotta make phone calls. That's about it. But you can get it here.
Yeah. Why do I have to be diplomatic to get an eighth? That's crazy.
Yeah, you just go call. Yo, have you got? Yeah, I'll meet you around the corner, the alleyway here. Alright, cool. You got it. Well, everyone does it here. But yeah. That's basically the UK. We're just very like strict on shit.
Well, I feel like
in New York, stuff closes a lot later. Like here, unless it's a weekend, everything's closed at like by 11 o'clock.
I came in later last night and I was looking for some place to eat. It was around 9 p.m. and they were like, I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm in the heart of London. And they were like, oh, we could find some places that close at 10:30, 11. I was like, grow up. It's Friday night.
Yeah, but past midnight, you're only gonna find bars.
Yeah, pubs, right?
Yeah, no. Actual like bars. Like we got lit bars over here.
You got lit bars?
Yeah,
I want to taste potato skins out here.
Yeah.
So
There's a few. How long are you here for?
Week and a half.
Oh, you got to hit up. Okay, we got to hit up Shoreditch.
Shoreditch? Okay.
Okay.
Everybody's recommending St. John's. Have you been there?
For what?
To eat.
Oh.
They're like, oh, it's a staple of British food.
I get like,
But I've been talking to non-black people, so maybe
no.
You say Shoreditch, is it?
Okay. Shoreditch, yeah. The bad way I'm gonna kill. Shoreditch is like one of like the nightlife places in London. It's like the part of London that like never sleeps. It's like it's always active. You can find like 10 bars there, hella clubs over there. Like it's fun. A lot of people in London hate it because we've been here all our lives and it's like, okay, let's be out of Shoreditch. But if you're here, go there. Have
Shoreditch.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah. There's hella bars
I'm
there.
gonna try. I'm gonna go do some nerdy stuff this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to Forbidden Planet.
Yes, Forbidden Planet's good.
I'm going to a couple other comic book stores, and then
There's a comic book store not far from here. I think it's called Japan. I'll send it to you, but Japan Core. It's like it's in Camden. It's like a little like cute manga shop's like right next to where I work.
Isn't Camden scary?
Camden's scary.
I heard Camden's hood.
Camden, you find a lot of punk rockers out there.
It's that type of okay. I can
Yeah,
handle some
Camden's very
punk.
punk rockish. So like, you find like people with super spiky hair, tattoos all over their face. It's like very like artsy punk.
Okay.
Yeah, where Shoreditch, I describe Shoreditch like nightlife, but super like artsy as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, we'll see. I'm fine with art.
Yeah, no, like definitely, like trust me, London. There's a lot. We're not all prim and proper here. Like, all,
Interesting.
You can have fun. There's a lot of us.
We'll find out. I'll give my report at the end of the week. How I felt.
Listen, I'm not gonna fail you like you New Yorkers failed Keith Lee. I ain't gonna do that.
That wasn't us.
That was you.
Those were the transplants.
Well, thankfully, you got people from Eds, and I'm sure you'll meet others that will direct you in the right directions in London.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not as big as Keith Lee, so I don't have the London transplants.
Listen, I don't want going back to the States and giving us a bad name. Like, people, we need to direct you to the right spots.
I will.
Yeah?
I will if it's not good. I'll be like,
Fairs. No,
I'll be like, this is terrible. I don't know why everybody likes London. It's terrible. And then that'll be it.
Fairs. But Frankie, appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I had so much fun. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I got one more drink. We got
Yes.
Rubicon.
Oh, yes. Okay, let me finish this.
Rubicon, yeah. So was the pineapple one too sweet as well?
I don't think so. It was, I think it'd be better with liquor. But it was good. Like, I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't offer it. Like, I wouldn't drink it with dinner. Let's see. This one looks like orange juice.
This is Rubicon Mango.
Oh, this tastes like real juice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
usually so
fruits.
perplexed. Yeah, no, like, we have like drink.
Yeah.
And then we have juice.
Yeah.
But it has to say like 100%. Like, I found out Dasani water is like not water.
Really?
It has like salt and all this other stuff. It's water with all this extra stuff in it. And so that's the type of life we live in, where like everything has all these preservatives and stuff. This is pretty good. This would also be better with tequila though. So we're gonna get
these, like I said, these are prime mixers that we use for various
I like
drinks.
that mango a little bit better.
Yeah.
So if the pineapple coconut is, let's say, an 8, mango's a 9. I like the mango. Very smooth.
First. So this is the tour. So what would you say is the best thing you've had on the table?
The sensations, the chips. The chips. The chips is definitely it. Chips are good. I'm going to take it back home.
Yeah, no. You can take the whole thing. I don't really care, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't take it. Because then I'll eat them all, but I'll take a couple bags with me.
Take a couple bags. But yeah, Frankie, please tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on. And I see you got like a new show. I saw a camera set up on your TikTok. Talk about about that real quick.
Yeah. Well, you can find me anywhere at Fantastic Frankey. Frankey, except for Twitter, which I don't really use, is Fanboy Fighter. I hate Twitter. But I am working on my own like talk show. It's very short. It's similar to like Z-Way, if you've ever seen that, where I interview people and just have like a quick interview with them. Less podcast, more like structured kind of interview. And I'm actually gonna hopefully, no, I think I'm ready. The first episode I'll have premiere on the 5th on YouTube of February. Yeah.
Yes.
Coming up, I'm excited. So second I come back from London.
Please send me I'll put all the links on the page as well. Yeah.
I'm so excited. So yeah, my first interview is with Cleo Thomas. If you've ever seen Holes, he was in Holes.
The Disney
Zero.
film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he was Zero. And he's really big gamer now. He's done some other actions.
I saw you dabble into gaming with like Baldur's Gate.
I still game. Yeah. Baldur's Gate's the only thing I've ever played besides Harry Potter.
Okay.
And I love Baldur's Gate. I think it's really turned me up in terms of gaming.
You ever played Final Fantasy?
No, so Harry Potter and Baldur's Gate are the two games I've played ever.
Because I said Final Fantasy because you mentioned, I like the RPGs, and you said Harry Potter, and I was like, my girl might be into Final Fantasy.
I keep on hearing that. I think what I liked about Harry Potter and Baldur's Gate is that I could be myself in these worlds. So I felt like I was in an isekai.
Customizable. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to be some white guy.
No, that's
cutting
fair.
up people. You know what I mean?
That is fair. Okay.
But I'll try it because I'm going to play the Suicide Squad game when it comes out next month.
No, what I'll do, I'm going to DM you a list of games that I think you may enjoy based on like
I want to play Deathloop. I heard that was great.
I've never played that.
I heard Deathloop was good. It has a black protagonist. I mean, I don't know. I'll start. I can't.
I don't want to throw you in
game.
the deep end, innit? Because
I mean, Baldur's Gate is the deep end.
True.
How much more complex is it than Go? Like that's a complex game with no guidance.
You need to play Mass Effect.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Elder Rings.
Mass Effect disclaimer. The versions you'll get like on a PlayStation 5 or on PC are like the game's old. So it's like the latest game released in like 2013, but Mass Effect is a game set in outer space in a universe where humans and aliens have interacted. Humans are like the newest species to the Galactic Council. You play as a customizable character, but the character's name is Shepard, whatever Shepard. And they are the first like human Spectre. Spectre's like, think of it like a government agent, but for the Galactic Council.
Interesting.
You're the first ever human Spectre. And the game like requires you to like build a team full of humans and aliens to like solve diplomatic issues, but also fight off a wider threat. The appeal about the game, kind of I think like Baldur's Gate, is that you get customizable dialogue. So you can like build like relationships with these characters or become enemies with these characters. It won't be as complex as Baldur's Gate because it's a much older game.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can customize your protagonist, so you can make your protagonist a black woman or, a black man. And your choices affect each game. So there's 3 games in the original trilogy. And let's say a character dies in the first game, they will not be back in the second game. But if you choose to save them in the first game, they'll be back in the second game or third game. So your choices affect the story in each game.
I love that. Like Baldur's Gate. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about Baldur's Gate is like I'm on my 3rd playthrough.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing a totally different game.
Yeah.
I heard if you play as a drow, it's like insane. Like people are so racist towards you.
Yeah.
And like you go to Goblin Camp, there's no roles. You just walk right in. Like it's a whole thing. So I'm excited.
Yeah. But Frankie, I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been the Rare Podcast. I didn't even do my intro. I have to do my intro.
Yeah.
But it's been your boy NK, aka the man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour. It's been another amazing episode of the Rare Podcast. Thank you, Frankie, for coming through. And thank you for trying the snacks.
Of course.
I hope I did the man them proud. Please. I did the man them proud. But yeah, man, tune into the next episode. We are signing out. Peace.